Hey guys, welcome back. Let's go ahead and fill in our table of contents real quick before we get started. So we have page 62 and 63 this week, and that is notes for NS1A divide fractions. You know what we did accidentally this week is we put the notes before the homework log, so we're just going to switch those this week. So 64 and 65 will be your homework log and homework. So we just kind of messed that up this week, but that's no big deal. So if we go back to page 62, we've got that page, and then page 63, which is NS1B, I can divide fractions. Oh, and actually on the homework log I said 1A, but it's supposed to be a B. So go ahead and make that change. It's a B. On the table of contents it should be NS1B, divide fractions. NS1B, so right back on page 63. NS1B, I can divide fractions. Now notice on this one we don't say with a model, because we are going to learn how to do that, dividing fractions without a model. So this page we're going to do in class, so don't worry about that. Just go ahead and flip up your flap, and we're going to go ahead and talk about how to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at a model, just to refresh ourselves on what that looks like. So we might have something like 3 divided by 1/3, right? And to make a model, we would draw out our bar, and because we have 3 holes, we would cut that into 3 pieces. Each one of these is a hole. And then because we want to circle, we want to know how many 1/3s, we would cut each of these smaller pieces into 1/3. 1/3, 1/3. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Right? And then again, we're answering the question, how many 1/3s do we have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know that 3 divided by 1/3 equals 9. So what you have there is, hopefully you can see that if you multiply 3 by 3, that's kind of where that 9 came from. But it's a little more than that, because what you actually are doing here is you're taking the 3, you're going to make that a fraction, 3/1, divided by, well, actually, multiplied by 3/1, because what you're doing is the reciprocal there, and that equals 9. So that's the reciprocal that we talked a lot about yesterday, right? So we're going to stop modeling now, and we're going to start just using that reciprocal, because it's a lot easier for us. So for example, if we have 1/4 divided by 2/3, the first thing we want to do is make the division problem multiplication. The way that you get to do that is by using the reciprocal of the divisor. So that's the key there, is that reciprocal. Okay, so just in case you are a little forgetful, remember that the first number that we're dividing up is called the dividend. Okay, so this fraction, because it's the first one, it's the one we're dividing up, is called the dividend. This one here is called the divisor, because that's telling us how much in a group, how many groups. Okay, so we're always doing the reciprocal of the divisor. Always the reciprocal of the divisor. So what you do is this becomes multiplication. It's still 1/4 times, now instead of 2/3, it's going to be 3/2 because you have the reciprocal. Okay, there's the reciprocal there. So then step 2 is just multiply. And then step 3 is simplify if you need to. If needed. Okay, so 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. 3/8 is our answer. Because again, we did 1 times 3 and 4 times 2. We multiplied those straight across because that's how we multiply. I need to move that up for you. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so again, 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. That's how we got that answer. Okay, so just to recap, 1/4 divided by 2/3. We make it a multiplication problem. It's still 1/4, but it's multiplied by the reciprocal, which is 3/2. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. And that's how we get our answer. Okay, let's do one more example. Let's try 2/5 divided by 3/5. Okay, so once again, that becomes multiplication. And it's going to be 2/5 still. The dividend doesn't change. It's only the divisor that changes. And that's going to be 5/3. Again, reciprocal. Multiply straight across. 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. Now on this one we can simplify. I can see right away 10/15. I could divide by 5 on the top and the bottom, and I would get a simplified fraction of 2/3. So look for those things that need to simplify. Simplify. Okay. And that's really it, guys. We did all of the hard work with the modeling, so now it's just applying that knowledge of reciprocal. So, thanks for watching, guys.